Hello my friends, and thanks so much for joining us back at the Galaxy YouTube channel. I am in Saratoga Springs, New York at the Advanced Semiconductor Manufacturing Conference. Now if you haven't seen any of our earlier videos, we're recording many videos from this, and if you haven't seen any of our previous videos, we've been giving a baseline of AI and machine learning. If you want to learn more about that, you can click the link below or click that eye up there in the corner. Now today we're in for a treat because with us today, I have joining us Daniele Pagano from ST Microelectronics, Catania, Sicily, who's in the research and manufacturing deployment and has funded projects for cybersecurity and maintenance programs. So let's hear about what you've been up to since you've come to Saratoga Springs. What have you seen over here?
Yes, it was a beautiful experience. Consider that I go around in the downtime and I appreciate a lot also the people and understood that the importance of horses and water in the history of the city. A lot of horses around in shop and so on. And in any case, it's beautiful go around the city.
It was a long trip from Catania, right, to come here. Have you been able to catch up on your sleep and got adjusted to the East Coast time?
Yes, but I recovered.
Now at the ASMC conference, what have you seen so far that has interested you?
Consider that I followed the EPC section and metrology. For me are very interesting to understand also how our competitors are working on this topic. Another important point for me is to understand and verify that now there are less academic presentation and more focused on application, because sometimes it's easy to see something that seems beautiful, but at the end is not easy to understand the weakness of each algorithm have.
So which do you prefer? So when you hear an academic presentation versus a hands-on application, it sounds like maybe you like the hands-on application better.
Yes, for sure.
And that's
also to understand
tell
better when you talk regarding virtual metrology or predictive maintenance is not a solution for all, but only for specific problem that we have to solve. And understand and see that also other technicians highlight this point for me is important, because in the past was not in this way. It seems a more marketing approach.
Right, so as opposed to marketing and salesy, it's more actually how people are actually doing things.
Yes.
Now, are you able to take some of those things back to ST Catania and implement things, or will they be things that you learn and then maybe you take some from that and you go in your own direction with those things?
But consider for sure represent some ideas that can be developed. And another important point for me was to attend the talk that opened the conference, because described the situation in terms of funded project from the European community and also some correlation with the activity in the US. Consider that during the last 2 years I am working on European project, and I am focused on this type of activity. For me is important to also reinforce the network that I created in this period.
So Daniele, on LinkedIn, it looks like for the last 25 years you've been in the semiconductor industry. So what has been the most memorable experiences that you've had there?
Consider that I have joined ST Microelectronics in 1999 as a junior engineer in lithography. And after I covered several positions also in dry etching, process control, and have growing responsibility inside the organization. Also, I was more than 9 years in epitaxy department, following process and maintenance. So I am proud to join our company, because I have the opportunity also to move from a position to another one and understand better the entire flow inside operation. Consider that the last activity that I am following in terms of cybersecurity for Catania operation or maintenance program, and as mentioned before regarding European project, for me is a natural development after following different topic in different process area. So for me it was a great experience, and I go on with, I have to say, enjoy the day-by-day work because it represents something of different.
Sure. So you've gone from being very hands-on lithography to all the way to project management and everything in between. Each of those types of things being very hands-on versus more managerial, they each have their own challenges, right?
Yes, consider that every time when people move from one position to another one, is in any case some difficulties arise because you move from a comfort zone to something that you don't know very well. But this is the challenge.
So I know what a challenge at least was for me. I've worked for a lot of big companies like Motorola, Medtronic as product engineer. I found it very hard to not get lost in the hugeness of the company. Many engineers in this, you've been able to work your way from the bottom all the way sort of to the top. What advice would you have for other younger engineers to if you get into a big company that's very stable and it's a very great opportunity, how did you push through to not get lost in that?
But I don't know, every time I faced some difficulties that can arise from different aspects, could be technical or related to relationship. At the end, I overcome them because it's possible if you put in place the correct relationship to overcome also technical issue. In some cases, I received a big support from our supplier to understand better the process, for example, or the usage of the machine.
So what I'm hearing is it's not just good enough to be a technical genius. Relationships goes a long way.
Yeah, at the end, the results that you can obtain is related to the collaboration with the other.
And that is some great knowledge right there. That is experience speaking right through. So as we all know, Daniele, the world has been a different place since 2020, since the pandemic. And there's lots of challenges from what we just talked about with young engineers not getting lost. Also talented and experienced people managing and hiring these young engineers. What other advice would you have for either young engineers that are just coming out, maybe thinking about getting into the chip manufacturing world? And what would you say for people like in your positions, high level, that are trying to hire, train, and mentor these young engineers?
Yes, I believe that, in my personal opinion, that the pandemic period changed some value in a young generation. So respect the previous one. For them is important the quality of their life, and also is important from a managerial point of view, taking account of this point. So for sure also in our company we have big attention in general for people and in particular for newcomer, but not only a technical problem. Is important to take in account also the evolving of the society.
Yeah.
So is not possible to maintain the same approach that we can use successfully 10 years ago, for example.
Yeah, you have to approach things very differently.
Yeah.
Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us. If you have questions for Daniele, go ahead and put them in the comments below. And Daniele, thank you so much for joining us here on the Galaxy YouTube channel.